Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. Today is January 23rd. My name is Marty Forrest. My website is Hello Extraordinary Life. If you haven't been there yet, check it out. On the landing page is a free guide, 3 steps to reprogramming your negative self-talk. And with that comes emails about these calls every week. All of these calls are recorded and on the website, which has not been updated with the last 5 because apparently I can't put more than 75 on a page. So I didn't know that. And so I'm working on a different platform to get the rest of the recordings up there. However, you will get them all in email, and I post them on Facebook in the closed group. So you still get them, even if you can't get them on the website yet. I lost my train of thought. And I'm not sure of the date yet, but somewhere in March, springtime, I'll do my next 6-week course, which is traveling that journey inside and ultimately beginning that relationship with the inner child and taking that journey to heal. That's where it began. That's where it began for me, was healing that relationship with the inner child so I could take care of her, therefore taking care of me and developing that relationship to loving myself. And on goes the journey, which is the perfect little segue into what I was talking about for the call this week, which is taking care of that and honoring our feelings and speaking them out loud when we need to, and how much practice it takes. Sometimes I get to something that's happening again, and I'm like, really? Again? Why is this happening again? Haven't I not done this? Am I not done yet? And I go through that whole process, and the minute I ask any of those questions, I know I'm not done. Clearly I'm not done, or I wouldn't even be asking the question. It just wouldn't even be there. So I realized that for heart, and I think it's true for most human beings, most of us, it's good for us to speak things out loud or to write or to write about them to get to what is really going on. Because if I'm just talking about it and I'm being committed to my complaining and I'm just complaining, then I keep generating more complaining and I keep drawing in more of that kind of energy and that kind of people and that kind of experience, because that's my view. I'm looking through that place of complaining and judgment and not good enough and whatever those labels are. I grew up in a home like that. I could do 5 things, 25 things that were all good, clean the whole house. This is real true experience, cleaned the whole house, did not mop the floor. I spent hours cleaning the house as a surprise for my mom. And the only thing she picked out was the floor not being mopped. No acknowledgement of what I had done. And that was my life. That was a lot of my life. There was never an acknowledgement, not until I became an adult, because they didn't know how to. So they're learning, my mom is still learning from me how to give the compliment and how to acknowledge someone instead of complain or find the negative. I was very conscious and very deliberate about my choice of the cruise with my family, because the truth is we just like different things. That's the truth of it. My habit is to complain. It's what I know really well. What it does is keep me in the blame, the shame, and the victim. If I'm complaining, I'm the victim. I'm becoming a victim, or I'm living in that victim place because I'm not taking any responsibility. I was very deliberate about speaking and focusing on what was really great about the cruise and not complaining about the struggles. And there weren't a lot, but there were enough. And because my habit is to complain and my lifetime of focusing on the negative, I can default really easily to that place. because it's comfortable and it's familiar. It takes some real deliberate, mindful practice to keep focusing on what was really amazing about it. And it was really amazing. But many of us like to get into that complaining and build a case and get people on our side, right? Because now we're the victim and we're not being responsible for our own response to it or our own life to it, right? We choose everything in our life. And I may not choose the circumstance per se, but I can choose my response to it. So I didn't say a lot of anything about my family. I don't really like them. And I made the choice consciously to travel. My mom invited me, paid for the cruise. On my vision board, at the top is a picture of a beach, win a trip to Hawaii. Fully paid. And she paid for it. I took spending money. And I was going with her sister and brother-in-law, my aunt and uncle. So I knew, I already knew, but until you have the experience, you kind of have a heads up because I know how they are. But so I was even on the cruise, very mindful of my way of showing up. What happens is when I'm sitting in that judgment, any of us, this is true for anybody, when we sit in the judgment, we sit in the opinion, and we sit in the, why aren't you doing it my way? Whatever that is, whatever the language is in our head, that's what I do to me. It's not really about them. They're simply reflecting something back to me. So it's simply what I'm doing to myself. The less I do that to myself, the less I have judgment about the world and my family. When I'm not speaking it because it's still there inside of me, because when people would ask me how my cruise was, I was still charged. I felt a charge in my response. So once I finally did some writing to just get it out of me about what a miserable blah, 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 POS, I think they are. I don't like them, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? I put that all on paper and I said it out loud to one person. Then it's out of me. Now I can move on to a solution or a healing or what I need to do for myself. So I really don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good to sit in that place. It's a heavy, heavy yuck energy that I generate. I do it to myself. You do it to yourself. When we sit in those places of complaining and judgment, blame, right? I wanted to blame my uncle for the first day we were in Maui for the drive that we went on, but I didn't speak up. I didn't say anything. Now, it may not have changed the outcome, but I would have spoken my truth in the moment. And that was that we needed to turn around. Instead, I got mad at him and I blamed him because I did not want to sit in a freaking car all day long on my first time ever to Hawaii. I could have stayed on the ship if that was going to be the journey. That was where my mind went. So it takes practice. We know what we know. We know how we've always been. We know what our habits. It takes practice, mindfulness, intention, deliberate to learn how to reprogram where we default to. There's no blame in that. It's simply what we know, and now we get to choose something else. If you look at the world around us, our whole culture is geared that way. Depending on our family, many of our families were geared that way. Our generations were all about survival, and you stuffed everything because all you had to do was survive. You just had to work hard and make a living. My great-grandmother was depression, passed on to my grandma. My grandma was a hoarder, passed on to my mom. So there's no feeling. There's no expression of that. right? So we come by it in our family, and we take it on, we own it, until we realize it's not really working. And it was never mine to begin with. But being human and having this brain, we get imprinted with everything that's in our world. Now it's our responsibility, obligation, if you will. I don't really like that word, it's kind of heavy. Responsibility is good. And if you break that word up, response, ability, our ability to respond. That's what we're doing here. We're learning how to respond to life instead of being the victim to our circumstances and reacting to our life. And that takes becoming mindful and choosing and undoing, right? We have to undo, reprogram all those things that were never ours to begin with. But we've owned them because that's all we've known. And now it's time. The time has come for us to do something different. And I believe most of us that listen to this and hear me, we're on that road. We've been doing this for a while. So I get to just remind us all that we keep doing it. Because sometimes I think I want to be done, and I want to be done with certain things. Absolutely true. Because I don't want to keep reliving it or keep pulling the scab off or going through it all over again. And until it is actually healed for real, healed deep down at that core, just layer by layer. And then the next layer, and then the next layer, or the next thing. Because we've been imprinted with a lot of things as a human. And that's our brain function. And in our DNA, it's there. It's already there. So at another level, maybe we chose this, but consciously, I'm certain we didn't all go, oh, I think I'll go do this thing. I'm going to choose this family who's going to be however they are. But we did on some level so that we could become who we are today. And so these extraordinary human beings making a difference and glowing and shining our light in the world. And that's what we're here for. And when we do this, we shine that for other people to do theirs. I think I'm done right there. I could probably say more, but I'll stop there. Anybody have an aha or just a takeaway or a reminder? What you get?
I love this is Rhonda, and last week was a really hard week for me in that type of bashing others' behavior. And like you said, I'm exhausted. Like I'm so done, And so I love what you said about I'm not doing anything to those other people I'm judging. I'm doing it to myself. Like they're not different. I'm just exhausted and a bitch and everything else over it, So yeah, I need to tell my shadow self to go away for a while so I can feel my inner child.
Yes. The shadow doesn't go away.
Yeah, I as soon as I said it, I was like, that's not what I meant, but
I know, but it's important. It's important that you acknowledge what you're feeling, and then you don't have to live in it. You just can acknowledge it and go, okay, what do I choose different? Thank you for sharing.
I was just thinking the other day, my niece had her dog fixed, a little puppy, and she was sleeping on the floor with the damn dog because she has a tall bed. She was afraid the dog was going to fall off the bed and hurt. And I had been through it, and I told her it was just ridiculous because they were just going crazy over this damn dog, concerned more about the damn dog. So my niece got sick because she was laying on the floor for 3 days, sleeping on the floor with the damn puppy for 3 days. And I just said to myself, why are you beating your head against the wall trying to convince them otherwise? And then I realized that it was my issue, not theirs, because they didn't ask me to fix them. I tried to fix them and give them advice, and they weren't taking it. So that's what I got pissed off at. And it's like
we do that, yes.
my issue, not theirs, you dummy.
Good realization, Lori.
Huh?
That was a good realization.
Oh, I know. It's like, what the hell are you doing? I was the one that was ended up being angry. They didn't give a shit, I thought, how stupid, and what I did to myself was unbelievable, Dumb. But okay, at least I recognized it, and I can do things differently next time.
Absolutely.
Okay. I can certainly relate to the family issue.
Did I lose? I must have lost. I didn't hear it ding. Stacy.
Stacy, are you there?
No, she was at work, so she might have fallen off.
Oh, could be.
Or hung up.
Is this CrossFit, Stacy?
No.
Okay. Was it red face Stacy?
Red face Stacy. With real short hair?
Yeah.
No. Hang on, let me stop recording.
Okay.